Good morning, YouTubians. It's Kermit's Ghost. You can call me Alan. It is Monday, 21st of October 2024, just 10 days to Halloween. It's quite a healthy and a mixed bundle of releases coming out this week. You've got everything from Long Legs to Harold and the Purple Crayon. As per last week, my pickups today will feature in next week's video because I want to watch them all before showing you. But of course, I will show you all the latest releases once I get to HMV this morning. There's going to be quite a lengthy conclusion to this video today, as I received a parcel from Imprint Films which contained 2 box sets. So thank you to Imprint Films for that, really do appreciate it. There will be a link in the description below to their website. Now alongside those, I also have 2 movies to show you, one that came out just last week and one the week before. So I just need to get ready now, get in the car, head up to the city, grab my morning latte from Costa, not a sponsor, and then head into HMV. Let's go. Okay, so into HMV we go, see what's out today. HMV, you know, was founded on the 20th of July 1921, but the original gramophone logo was used before the HMV shop opened back in 1899. But the more modern logo featuring the words HMV shop was added in 2007. In no particular order, I'm going to start with Ghost from 1990. It's a supernatural romance directed by Jerry Zucker. It stars Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, Whoopi Goldberg and Tony Goldwyn. Now this lovely movie won Whoopi Goldberg the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. £22.99 for this release today, and it has a lovely glossy slipcover. My Hero Academia Season 6 Part 2 next. This sees escaped villains causing trouble across the nation, while Deku faces one for all successors. There are 12 episodes put onto 2 discs and a price tag of £29.99. This one carries a 15 certificate. So next is the same title but a limited edition release which includes a 64-page art booklet with cast interviews. There's silver metallic art cards which feature key characters and an acrylic standee with sticker set. Expect to pay £59.99 for this release. Mobile Suit Gundam Kokura's Doan's Island now on Blu-ray. All set to take out the troops on a deserted island. The Gundam instead find children. This 108-minute lost episode features 55 minutes of bonus features and is priced at £14.99. Found this one today. It's Civil War on 4K. It's a steelbook that came out on the 16th of September. It's directed by Alex Garland and stars Kirsten Dunst, Kaylee Spaney and Stephen McKinley Henderson. This one is priced at £29.99. Succession now, the complete series, which is seasons 1 to 4. Only the first season had previously been released, a practice that I find very annoying. This is a drama mixed with political satire, which consists of 39 episodes and has a runtime of 2,537 minutes. This one is priced at £59.99. Night Sleeper next from Dazzler Media and Fremantle. This is a 6-part real-time drama set on a sleeper train from Glasgow to London. This 2-disc set has a runtime of 348 minutes and is priced at £16.99 and it carries a 15 certificate. Renfield next on 4K. This comedy horror was directed by Chris McKay and it stars Nicholas Hoult as the title character, who is a long-suffering servant to Nicolas Cage's character Dracula. The Blu-ray came out in July last year, so this will be long overdue for some people, and this is priced at £24.99. The Oblong Box next on BFI Video. This 1969 horror, which is based off a short story of the same name by Edgar Allan Poe, stars Vincent Price, Christopher Lee and Sally Geeson. £16.99 for this release today. Another BFI release, this time Starve Acre. This is a folklore horror from last year starring Matt Smith and Morvith Clark. This has a runtime of 98 minutes and it carries a 15 certificate. £16.99 for this release today. Breakdown now on 4K. There's no UK standalone Blu-ray release for this yet, but here's the 4K. This is a psychological thriller from 1997 about a man searching for his missing wife. Stars Kurt Russell, J.T. Walsh and Kathleen Quinlan as the missing wife Amy. £22.99 for this release today. Barbed Wire now on 4K. Now the Blu-ray came out in 2011 and again in 2017, so this is long overdue. It's a 1996 comic book sci-fi action movie which stars Pamela Anderson as the title character and owner of the Hammerhead nightclub. Set in a not so pleasant or distant future where the USA is now divided and the only free city remains, which is Steel Harbour. This one is priced at £24.99. So next we have American Pie Collector's Edition from 88 Films. This is a 1999 coming-of-age sex comedy which stars Jason Biggs, Chris Klein, Sean William Scott, Eugene Levy, Jennifer Coolidge, Alison Hannigan and Tara Reid. It's about 4 friends who make a pact to lose their virginity by prom night, which is just 3 weeks away. Do not eat apple pie whilst watching this movie. And with these releases, as there is a 4K set available as well, you get a 40-page perfect bound book of cast and crew stills and behind-the-scenes photos, a rigid outer case and an O-ring slipcover, plus oodles of special features. £24.99 for the Blu-ray release and £29.99 for the 4K release. One Piece Film Red next on 4K. The Blu-ray came out in August last year. It's about a singer called Yuta, and during this animated musical fantasy, Yuta is performing her first song, Genesis, live. An incredible voice by Ado, who has a massive vocal range, worth checking out. This has a price tag of £28.99. The African Queen next on Studio Canal on Blu-ray and 4K, housed in a lovely full gloss slipcover. It's a brilliant movie directed by John Huston. It's a 1951 war romance drama starring Humphrey Bogart, Katharine Hepburn and Robert Morley. Cannot recommend this film enough. The Blu-ray is priced at £14.99 and the 4K is priced at £22.99. I've got the Eureka release of this, which does have a few extras that this one doesn't, but this has an added audio commentary from Angela Allen, who is a script supervisor, whereas the Eureka one has one from Jack Cardiff, the cinematographer. Wolf Girl and Black Prince, the complete collection next. This is about a schoolgirl who makes up a boyfriend to impress her friends, but it turns out the photo she used is in fact of a boy who attends her school, which she didn't realise at the time. Now she's got to pay the consequences. This carries a warning of sexual abusive behaviour, which would never happen on Top Cat. Just saying. £29.99 for this release. Harold and the Purple Crayon next. This is a fantasy comedy from this year, which stars Zachary Levi as the title character whose drawings become reality. It also stars Zoe Deschanel and Alfred Molina. £14.99 for this Blu-ray. Next we have The Beast. This is a French sci-fi romantic drama from last year, set in 2044, where AI has all but taken over manual labour, so humans have their DNA purified so they can discard emotions, but the procedure shows them past lives. £14.99 for this Blu-ray today. Veep next, the complete collection. Again, Warner Brothers, you've done it again, releasing a few seasons, then stopping midway through and just putting out a complete box set at the end. I'm going to have to now import the last 3 seasons from America. Screw you, Warner Brothers. £69.99 for this one. Kinds of Kindness next. This is a HMV exclusive release put out by Disney Buena Vista. This is a dark comedy in which there are 3 stories that are loosely connected. Stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons and Willem Dafoe. £14.99 for this release today, and it includes a poster. Longlegs now, a horror thriller written and directed by Osgood Perkins. It's about a hunt for a serial killer known as Longlegs. This stars Micah Monroe, Nicolas Cage and Blair Underwood. £14.99 for this Blu-ray. It carries a 15 certificate. Okay, next is Maxine. It's a horror from this year written and directed by Ty West. This is the 3rd instalment in the X series, hence the 3 X's in the title. Order in which they should be watched is as follows. X, which is set 1979. Then Pearl, which is set in 1918. Yeah, I know it's earlier, but go with it. And then Maxine, which is set in 1985. All star Mia Goth. This is priced at £14.99 and it carries an 18 certificate. Hey everybody, welcome back. So I've got 2 box sets to show you plus 2 movies, and this box set here has 7 titles in, so there's a lot to talk about, so let's crack on with it. Okay, before I start I want to say a huge thank you to Imprint Films for sending over these first 2 box sets. There will be a link in the description below as to where you can order these from should you wish. I also need to point out that the first of the 2 box sets are movie serials released by Republic Pictures, which was a studio in operation from 1935 to 1967. A serial is a series of short stories that were shown in movie theatres, usually aimed towards young boys. Each of the short stories would run 13 to 14 minutes and they would be shown before the main feature film, and they would be played 1 a week, which is where you get the word serial from. Usually they would end up on a cliffhanger to entice the viewer to return to find out what happened to their hero, who was always left in peril at the end of each episode. Most of these releases you have the option to watch the serials as they were in chapter form, but there are condensed seamless versions of movies which were at that point released under a different title and several years later. And I'll talk about all of them as I go along. I've watched every single title. I'm going to show you the outer box first, and then we'll look at each individual title as we go along. Just look at that cover right there. That doesn't sell it to you. I don't know what it is. That just screams action, adventure, sci-fi from the 50s. Fantastic. On the side there, we have a list of all the titles available inside. On this side, we have Rocket Man. On the back there, this is just a peel away bit of card that has all the extras listed, and you just pop that inside. On the back there is a character. It's one of the Martians. I'll get to him a little bit later when I'm explaining about all the contents. On the top, we have the title, and we have a few specs on the bottom. I've taken all the discs out. Oh, I love those. Love that little angled lid there, and it's so sturdy. Green on the inside. Best box set you get on the market. Fantastic high gloss finish. Absolutely love it. Okay, starting off with King of the Rocket Men. What a great title that is. It's a science fiction adventure from 1949 that's directed by Fred C. Brannan. He directed most of these. It sees an evil villain who is an anti-scientist, a Dr. Vulcan, played by Isaac Stanford Jolly. Actually, you don't see him for the longest time. You see his shadow, hear his voice, but he is revealed at the end. Now, Dr. Vulcan's plan is to kill off all the prominent scientists of the world who are linked with the Science Associates, which is an organisation where the greatest minds come together for the greater good. Lots of dials turning and levers pulling, that kind of thing. Plus, he aims to steal a device that could level New York City. But of course, to counter his evil plan, there has to be a hero. And for this particular story, we have a great one, Rocket Man. And I've got to say, the effects of his flying are absolutely amazing. In fact, they're so impressive, they use that footage over and over and over again. Now, Rocket Man clearly was an inspiration for Rocketeer, right down to the leather jacket and helmet. And by the way, Rocket Man is played by Trisham Coffin. There are lots of fist fights in this, ladies in peril, plenty of scenes with our hero in flight. Plus he's got a ray gun as well. And there's an incredible sequence with Dr. Vulcan and the Decimator. What more could a young teenage boy ask for at the pictures? Picture quality on this is crystal clear. Now, the serials have a runtime of 2 hours 48 minutes, or you can watch the film version, which is now called Lost Planet Airman, which has a runtime of 1 hour 5 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So Imprint have made the most of the space here. We have 2 films in each case. Each one has a separate disc. You have the front cover and then the information which you would normally find on the back cover. It's on the inside. And that fantastic front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was King of the Rocket Men. So next we have Flying Disc Man from Mars. What a great title that is. Well, that's a serial title anyway, which came out in 1950. The film title is Missile Monster, put together in 1958 and directed by Fred C. Brannan. This sees a scientist shoot down a small plane using a new weapon, an atomic ray that was invented to protect America from UFOs that they've seen hovering in the area, just out of range. So they fit this new atomic weapon to a small plane so they can get closer. They shoot down a flying saucer, and out of the wreckage pops Motor, the Martian, played by Gregory Gay. He informs Dr. Bryant, who is also at the crash site, that they've been monitoring human scientific breakthroughs, especially the use of atomic energy. See, America was very paranoid at this point. Dr. Bryant, by the way, is played by James Craven, who was also a scientist in King of the Rocket Men. And the Martian, they go further and tell Dr. Bryant that he could rule the Earth if he cooperates with them, so they go about obtaining more uranium to build a futuristic plane, which is more of a flying saucer cross with a stealth fighter, which they fit with a new atomic weapon. I should point out that Dr. Bryant hires a couple of henchmen to do his bidding, so you have it all going on in here. You have more fist fights, you have atomic weapons, Martians, disposable henchmen. What more could a young lad want? Now, Walter Reed is playing our all-American clean-cut hero. Again, picture quality on this is absolutely brilliant, given the age. The serials have a combined runtime of 2 hours 47 minutes, and the movie has a runtime of 1 hour 15 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So as I mentioned before, this is a shared case. So we have our front cover and we have our information on the back. And the front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was Flying Disc Man from Mars. Okay, next title out of the box is The Invisible Monster from 1950, or the film version is titled Slaves of the Invisible Monster from 1966. Just think of these serials as extended versions of the film. This one's also directed by Fred C. Brannan, and it's about an evil villain known as the Phantom Ruler who has invented a substance when sprayed on his clothes makes him invisible. But he has to have a special lamp nearby, which when it shines on him, the spotlight activates the formula and makes him undetectable. But this lamp is massive and very heavy. It's got to be transported by truck, and the light it throws out is very bright, very obvious. Phantom, played by Stanley Price, who has appeared in over 30 serials, wants to build himself an army of invisible soldiers, and he's using illegal immigrants smuggled across the border to do so. These immigrants are possibly from Russia to escape communism. But before his plans are put into force, the Phantom needs funds, so he puts these soldiers into places of employment which he plans to rob later undetected. Now, of course, the good guys always triumph over evil, and the saviours in this story are a female detective called Carol Richards, played by Aileen Town, who pops up in another 2 serials in this set, and Carol's got help from Lane Carson, who's investigating some money that's gone missing from a bank that the Phantom has taken. Lane is played by Richard Webb, who sadly took his own life after suffering from chronic illness. Picture quality on this serial is excellent, but the film is in standard definitions, nowhere near as crisp. Serial's got a runtime of 2 hours 48 minutes, and the film version is 1 hour 32 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So, as again, this is a shared case with Radar Man from the Moon, which I'll get to in just a moment. Got to say, that character there looks like he's been dead for about 30 years. There's no zombies in this story at all, but he doesn't look very healthy on there, does he? As I said, this is a shared cover, so front cover there, back cover is on the inside. And that very disturbing image of the henchman is put onto the disc. So that was The Invisible Monster. Next we have Radar Men from the Moon. It's from 1952, or you can watch the TV film version, which is titled Retic, the Moon Menace, and that's from 1966. A sci-fi action story directed by Fred C. Brannon with special effects from the brothers Howard and Theodore Lydecker. This sees Rocket Man return, identical to his outing in King of the Rocket Men, even down to using the same stock footage of him flying, but in this he's been renamed as Commando Cody, and is being played this time round by George Wallace. Now Cody, he is an inventor, and as well as building his flight suit, he's also built himself a rocket ship that's capable of reaching and landing on the moon itself. Living on the Moon is Retic, played by Roy Barcroft, who is wearing the same outfit worn by Motor the Martian from Flying Discman from Mars. So I love how they repurpose everything in these serials, scenery, actors and costumes. They even use the mountain cave melting scene from King of the Rocket Men, which is absolutely perfect, I've got to say. I don't know how they did that. Now, on the Moon, there is a city, apparently a breathable atmosphere as well, as no one seems to need a spacesuit. But you've got to remember, this is, 11 years before Yuri Gagarin orbited the Earth. Anyway, Retic, he's planning to invade Earth using atomic weapons, and it's down to Cody and his team to stop him. Perfect. Also stars Aileen Town as Joan Gilbert, as part of Cody's team, and alongside her you have Dick, played by Gail Kellogg, and Ted, played by William Bakewell. Now, the serials run at 2 hours 47 minutes, whereas the TV movie, that runs at 1 hour 40 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So the front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was Radar Men from the Moon. Next is Zombies at the Stratosphere from 1952. The movie version of this is actually called Satan's Satellites from 1958, which I happen to have a poster on the aisle in front of me, and I'll turn this camera around at the end and show you. Sees Fred C. Brannon return to the director's chair, and Howard and Theodore Lydecker once again producing the special effects. Now, Commander Cody, he's back, but Republic Pictures have renamed him as Larry Martin. Doesn't really have the same ring to it, does it? No, Larry this time around is being played by Judd Holdren. So it's got an outlandish but very good story. Mars is too far from the Sun, as we know, finding it difficult to thrive, so they plan to trade places with Earth, playing planet marbles, if you like. Of course, by detonating hydrogen bombs simultaneously on Earth and Mars. I'm not sure if that's going to work, but there you go with it. Martians are led by Marix, played by Lane Bradford. Marix blackmails a scientist into helping him, and he wants to sweeten the deal by offering him a life on Mars, which will eventually be where Earth is currently orbiting. Of course, Marix is working out of a secret cave, and he's got an assistant called Narab, played by Leonard Nimoy. And it seems that Marix feels the need to hire a couple of henchmen to help his plans go a little bit more smoothly. The Martians, they also have this clumsy remote control robot, which is to help him, and he pops up in the next serial as well. But don't you know it, Larry Martin and his rocket suit will scupper all their plans with the help, of course, of his associates, Sue Davis, played by Aileen Town, and Bob Wilson, played by Wilson Wood. Pitch quality on this, as on all of them, are exceptional. The serial runs at 2 hours 47 minutes, and the movie runs at 1 hour 10 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so again, this is a shared case. They are making the most of the space. So you have the front cover, and what would be regularly on the back of the cover is now on the inside. And that front cover image has been put onto the disc. So that was Zombies of the Stratosphere. Okay, so here is the poster I have for the film version of Zombies of the Stratosphere. This is called Satan's Satellites, and the main image there of Marix the Martian, who's played by Lane Bradford, Carrie and Sue Davis, played by Aileen Town, is actually shown there for dramatic purpose. Doesn't actually happen anywhere in the serial, but the scene below with the two henchmen, Roth, played by John Crawford, and Shane, played by Ray Boyle, being shot at by the robot who has the Scottish actor Tom Steele inside, does happen in Chapter 11, titled Man vs. Monster. Next one to show you is Mysterious Dr. Satan's from 1940. This serial has 15 episodes, so it's a little bit longer. The film's title was Dr. Satan's Robot, which came out in 1966, this time around directed by William Whitney and John English. And as the title suggests, the villain of the story is Dr. Satan. And what a great villain name that is, played brilliantly by Eduardo Sionelli. Dr. Satan, he wants money, he wants power, but standing in his way is Bob Wayne, played by Robert Wilcox. And Bob learns from his legal guardian that his father used to be a hero, wore a copper cowl, fought crime and injustice. Now the name Wayne, Cowls and Fighting Injustice sound familiar? Should be, and this actually came out 1 year after Batman was created. Anyway, this time around the hero goes by the name of Copperhead. Dr. Satan, meanwhile, he is trying to gather enough technology so he can build himself and release his army of robots. And there's a very humorous scene in this where they actually drive the robot to the bank so it can break into and steal a bag of swag. But we all know Dr. Satan's overall plan will never happen on Copperhead's watch. So this also stars Ella Neal as a female reporter, Lois. Superman was created 2 years before this was released. Alongside Ella, we have C. Montague Shaw as Professor Thomas Scott. He invents something that the Doctor covets. You've also got Tom Steele as the robot, which was repurposed in Zombies of the Stratosphere and designed by the Lydecker brothers. The overall runtime of the serials is 4 hours 27 minutes, so a little bit longer, but the condensed version in movie form is 100 minutes. Let's take a look inside. Well, on the disc we have an image there. There's a lot going on. That is actually the copper cowl that he's wearing. He's not gone blackface, so don't write in and complain. So that is the image on there. Unfortunately, they didn't put that phallic shaped robot on the disc. So that was the Mysterious Dr. Satan. Okay, last of the serials in this set is Commando Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe. This one's from 1953, and this one didn't get condensed into a movie. There are 12 episodes, each around 30 minutes in length. You've got Commando Cody, so called because he was a commando in the armed forces and is being played by Judd Holdren. And as well as wearing his helmet, he also dons a Zorro-type mask as to keep his identity a secret from everybody, including his team, which include Joan Gilbert, again played by Aileen Town. She's reprising a character from Radar Men from the Moon. You got Ted Richards, played by William Shatner. His character was previously played by William Bakewell, you may remember. Ted is replaced by number 4 in this serial by Dick Preston, played by Richard Crane. And the villain in this is called the Ruler, being played by Gregory Gay, and you may remember he played Motor in the Flying Discmen from Mars. The Ruler is playing havoc with Earth's climate, which he's achieving from Venus. He's an alien, of course, and he hires some henchmen on Earth to do his bidding, and he contacts them with his alien phone, which plays their voices in reverse, and the second machine just switches them back again. And in turn, they have an alien phone, which is doing exactly the same thing. This was initially going to be on TV only and not at the cinema, so none of these episodes end on a cliffhanger, which is a bit of a shame because it makes these endearing and exciting to kids to see as well. Now this sees Fretty Bannon back in the directing chair, and you've got Joan Jordan as the Queen of Mercury. Worth it just to see that alone. Now this sees a lot of actors, footage and equipment being repurposed, including the robot from the last serial, which was for some reason referred to as Robert in this. Now this has got a whopping runtime of 6 hours, which is put onto 2 discs. Let's take a look inside. So this has its own case as it's a 2-disc edition, and on the reverse of the cover you have a lovely image there. You've got Joan Gilbert being played by Aileen Town and Commando Cody in his Zorro mask. I should also mention there's a great 42-minute documentary on the history of Republic Pictures as well that I recommend watching. It's very insightful if you get the time. And as I said, this has a whopping runtime of 6 hours. So it's on 2 discs and you have a separate image on each disc. So that was Commando Cody, Sky Marshal of the Universe. Next is Man in a Suitcase, the complete series. So first, as before, I will show you the outer case and then I'll talk about the show itself. Here we go, Man in a Suitcase, another high gloss box set, very sturdy, got that lovely hinged lid, I'll come to that in a minute. There's a man with his suitcase on the back. Man in a Suitcase on the side and on the other side. Great image on the back showing him as a bit of a loner. At the title on the top in that font, very familiar font. And we have some small print on the base. Inside, take the lid off, taking the contents out, have an orange interior. So I'll put all that back in after I've talked about it. That is Man in a Suitcase. Okay, so Man in a Suitcase, 30-episode TV show which aired on a Wednesday evening from 27th September 1967 through mid-April 1968 and May to September 1968 in the USA. Shown on ITV, Lou Grade was a managing director at the time. Our main action show was Danger Man, which was coming to its conclusion because the main actor in that, Patrick McGowan, wanted to go on to make his own show, The Prisoner, which aired on a Friday night, same time as Man in a Suitcase, so same time, just a different night. Most of the production crew from Danger Man was transferred over to work on Man in a Suitcase. Anyway, digressing. On this show, our main protagonist is McGill, just McGill, no first name, played a bit by Madonna. Played by American actor Richard Bradford. He's an ex-CIA intelligence officer who's working on a case surrounding a Soviet defector. And through happenstance, the case goes sideways and he's left out in the cold by his agency. 6 years on, he's working as a bounty hunter. McGill finds that the person who betrayed him and died actually faked his own death. I should point out it's actually set, for the most part, in and around London during the swinging 60s, which is worth watching just in itself. It's a bit like a time capsule. It's really good. But unlike most shows of this time, there's a lot more realism in this one, more gritty if you like. McGill as a character is working mostly dangerous cases, often end up in hospital. So they do show him as fallible, subject to injury. McGill is our anti-hero. He's down on his luck. He's a coffee drinking American in England. Back then it was tea, it was our beverage of choice. So he's isolated, a lot like Richard Bradford himself actually. And with a lot of shows you do get a lot of famous faces, and this is no different at all. We got Anton Rogers, a 21-year-old Felicity Kendall who's playing a blind French woman, Bernard Lee, Jane Merrow, Edward Fox, John Gregson and Donald Sutherland, to name just a few. Theme tune, which was iconic and used by Chris Evans on the TV show TFI Friday. Each episode around 51 minutes mark, so it's got an overall runtime of 26 hours 38 minutes. Picture quality exceptional. Let's take a look inside. There's a 120-page perfect bound booklet which has an in-depth look at all the episodes as well as essays from a TV historian. In the first case there are 3 discs which covers episodes 1 through 13, and on the reverse of that cover you have an episode listing. In case 2 there are 4 discs and this covers episodes 14 through 30, and again on the reverse of that cover there is an episode listing. Okay, included in this set is a TV movie, To Chase a Million, which is from the 1967 episodes titled Variation on $1 Million, parts 1 and 2, which are episodes 8 and 9, and they are edited together, directed by Pat Jackson. And alongside it star Richard Bradford, you had Anton Rogers and Yoko Tani. This one's got a runtime of 1 hour 38 minutes. And the front cover image has been put onto the disc. And on the reverse of the cover, there is a screenshot from the film. So that was To Chase a Million. So that was Man in a Suitcase, the complete series. Okay, next one came out a couple of weeks ago. It's The Exorcism. It's a supernatural horror from this year, directed by Joshua John Miller, who's actually an actor and a screenwriter as well. In fact, he's playing the effects artist within this movie in a movie, if that makes sense. This is about a supernatural horror movie called Georgetown being made, that's being played by bad luck. And at the very beginning, the lead actor, Tom, who's alone on set practicing his lines, gets attacked by some unseen demonic force. Under pressure and desperate to get on with this project, the film's director, Peter, turns to Anthony Miller, being played by Russell Crowe, who has issues of his own. Namely, he's a recovering alcoholic with a complicated past. But Anthony insists that he's more than capable of taking over the role as the film's priest. Now on set, Anthony's daughter, Lee, who happens to be his manager. Lee is being played by Ryan Simpkins, who you may know from Revolutionary Road. She played the character of Jennifer Wheeler in that. Anyway, as the film gets underway, Anthony's behaviour starts to disintegrate. But is it his past coming back to haunt him, or is it the demonic forces that are back for more? You have to watch it and find out. Also stars David Hyde Pierce as the on-set advisor of the priest, Father Connor. You'll know David from Frasier. He played the character of Niles Crane. Oh, I forgot to mention that Peter, the director of Georgetown, is played by Adam Goldberg. He's been in everything. He's been in Friends. He played Eddie, the mad roommate. He was also Private Stanley Menish from Saving Private Ryan. He's been in everything. You'll know him if you saw him. This film has its moments, but there are far too many jump scares for my liking. I think that's quite cheap. It's got a runtime of 1 hour 35 minutes. Let's take a look inside. So a partial image from the front cover has been put onto the disc. I much preferred the other Russell Crowe film where he was the Pope's exorcist. So that was The Exorcism. Next and last is Twisters. This is a disaster film from this year that's directed by Lee Isaac Chung, and it stars Daisy Edgar Jones as Kate Carter. Now her character, she's a meteorologist who travels with her boyfriend Jeb and a team of 3 others as they try to send the contents of a container, which is called Dorothy, up inside a tornado. In the first film, the contents were to study the tornado, but this one's a little bit different as the contents in this one aim to reduce its power, as inside the container there are polyacrylates which absorb moisture. And first attempt they encounter an EF5 tornado, which means wind speeds of 200 miles an hour plus, which doesn't go well for the team at all. Cut to 5 years later, and now out of the storm chasing game, Kate is persuaded to go back by an old friend and a fellow storm chaser, Javi, being played by Anthony Ramos. Anthony you may know as Noah from Transformers Rise of the Beast. Anyway, after a town's destroyed without warning from a tornado, the race is on to come up with a solution for an early warning system, a bit like the first film. So Kate has got a new team, she's back in business, and there's another guy, a charismatic YouTuber called Tyler Owens, being played by Glenn Powell, who is a tornado wrangler and a fellow meteorologist. Bit of a maverick, no pun intended. That's all I'm going to say story-wise, but was it any good? Yes, it was. Okay, it does have its flaws, but I can overlook them. The story was solid, characters were engaging, the effects were incredible, the drone shots of the devastation in particular. Plus the sound was very punchy as well. Not a remake, there are nods to the original Twister, which I appreciate. I like that. It's got a runtime 2 hours, 2 minutes. Let's take a look inside. The slipcover and the cover have the same image. There's a plain blue disc and a double eco case. So that was Twisters. So that was it. Have you seen any of those? Plan to pick them up or just want to leave a comment? Then do so down below. I will read every single one and try to reply if I have the time. Give the video a thumbs up, really does help the channel. And subscribe if you haven't. It's all free. Why wouldn't you? On that note, all that's left to say is thank you so much for choosing my channel today and watching my video. Take care. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.